Have you ever desperately wished for a second chance? Or maybe just a really, really clear sign telling you exactly what to do next? Well, believe it or not, in this incredible chapter from the book of Numbers, we get a story about both. We're about to see a powerful lesson in grace and what has to be the most amazing guidance system ever. Let's get into it. All right, so let's set the scene. I want you to picture a massive, sprawling desert. You can see the silhouette of Mount Sinai off in the distance. A whole year, 12 months, has gone by since the Israelites made their jaw-dropping escape from Egypt. The memory of slavery is still fresh, but the promise of a new future is right there, hanging in the air. This is exactly where our story kicks off.
So here's our game plan. First, we're going to look at a sacred command for an anniversary. Then, we'll see how a totally unforeseen problem leads to a surprising new rule about second chances. And finally, we'll check out this incredible divine GPS that guided every single one of their steps.
Okay, let's dive into part one. Our story gets rolling with a really important command from God. Right there in the middle of the wilderness, a sacred appointment is about to be set, and it's all about remembering where they came from. So verse 1 drops us right into the scene. We're in the Sinai wilderness. It's now the second year of freedom, first month. You can almost feel the anticipation. Just picture Moses, maybe standing a little apart from the camp in that vast, quiet desert as he receives this divine message. Verse 2, bam, here it is, the heart of the command. Keep the Passover. Now, this isn't a suggestion, It's this foundational command to remember. You can just imagine families starting to prepare, telling their kids the story of how they were set free. It's a huge deal.
And verse 3 gets super specific. We're talking date, time, the whole shebang. The 14th day of the month, right at twilight. Picture the sun dipping below the horizon, painting the desert sky with color. That's the moment. And they have to do it exactly according to all the original rules and ceremonies.
So verse 4 shows the message in motion. What does Moses do? He gets the word out. You can see him addressing the elders of Israel, and that vital message just ripples out through the entire camp, tent by tent. Verse 5, this is just a beautiful scene. As night falls, the desert floor transforms. You see thousands of little campfires flickering to life, a sea of lights under the stars, as every family participates. It's this incredible moment of unity and obedience. But a problem is brewing just off-screen. And just as everyone is celebrating together, a conflict pops up. This is where a sacred, clear-cut law smacks right into the messy, complicated reality of life. And what happens next is going to have some big implications. Okay, verse 6. We meet some men with a serious problem. They had come into contact with a dead body, which, by the way, could have been because they were doing the honorable duty of burying a loved one. But according to the law, this made them ritually unclean. So they were barred from the celebration. Imagine their pain, watching everyone else, their family, their friends, celebrating this huge moment while they have to stand apart. But these guys, they don't just quietly accept it. In verse 7, they go right to Moses and Aaron, and you can just hear the anguish in their voices as they ask this question. Why? Why are we being shut out from honoring God with the rest of our people? It's a cry from the heart. And verse 8 is a total cliffhanger. The whole situation comes to a halt. Moses, facing this totally new problem, tells them, just wait here. Let me go find out what the Lord says about this. You can imagine those men just frozen in place, waiting, as Moses turns to seek a divine ruling. And then we get the breakthrough. A solution is revealed. And it's not just going to solve this one problem. It's going to reveal something new and compassionate about the very nature of God's law. So in verses 9 and 10, we hear God's answer, and it's incredible. A new instruction is given. A special provision is made for anyone who is unclean because of a dead body, or, and this is new, for anyone who is just too far away on a journey to make it back in time. It's pure grace. And just like that, the second Passover is born. You can think of it like a divine makeup day. It's a grace period, a chance for those who had a legitimate reason for missing out to still be a part of this foundational celebration. It's a powerful message. When the heart is in the right place, it's not too late. So, what's the difference here? It's pretty simple. The original Passover is in the first month for everyone who is clean and present. The second Passover is exactly 1 month later on the 14th day of the second month, and it's specifically for those who were unclean or away on a journey. Same festival, just a different date for those who needed it. Now, don't get the wrong idea. Just because it's called the second Passover doesn't mean it's some lesser B-list version. Verses 11 and 12 are crystal clear. The rules are exactly the same. You still eat it with unleavened bread and bitter herbs. You still can't leave any until morning or break any of its bones. It requires the exact same level of reverence. But with this great grace comes great responsibility. Verse 13 draws a very clear line in the sand. This second chance is for people who couldn't be there. But for the person who is clean, who is not on a journey, and who just decides to skip it, the consequences are severe. It's a reminder that being part of the community is a choice, and neglecting it on purpose is a big deal.
And the whole section ends on this beautiful unifying note in verse 14. This law, this whole system, including the second chance, is for everyone. It says you'll have one rule for the stranger and for the native. It doesn't matter where you come from. If you're with the community, you're included.
But the story is not over. The chapter makes a hard pivot here. We zoom out from that one specific problem to witness a daily, ongoing miracle. We're about to see the supernatural guidance system that led the Israelites on their entire journey.
Okay, get ready for this visual. Verses 15 and 16 describe something absolutely mind-blowing. The day the tabernacle was set up, this massive, swirling cloud just descends from the sky and covers it. And then from evening until morning, that same cloud looked like a pillar of fire. It was a constant, undeniable, visible sign of God's presence with them.
Now, this cloud wasn't just for show. As verses 17 and 18 explain, it was their divine GPS. The system was radically simple. When the cloud lifted up off the tabernacle, the entire nation, we're talking hundreds of thousands of people, would pack up and start marching. The second the cloud settled back down, they stopped and made camp. That's it. That was their life. But here's the real test of faith. Verse 22 tells us this wasn't on some predictable schedule. They never knew how long they'd be in one place. Sometimes the clouds stayed put for just a couple of days, sometimes for a whole month, and sometimes for a whole year. Can you imagine that level of patience, just waiting for your guide to move? And that's how they lived their lives. Verse 23 sums it all up so perfectly. At the Lord's command, they camped, and at the Lord's command, they journeyed. Their entire existence was based on following this one sign. And so as we finish up, I have to leave you with this question. If you had a cloud like that in your life, a clear, unmistakable sign telling you where to go, would you actually trust it, no matter where it led?